before perhaps we've let the riffs kind of lead the way.
Okay.
But then it's difficult because then I would say Mountains at Midnight doesn't do that.
Which is the first single, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's bring you back to basics.
Yes.
We're going to start off again here and take you on another journey.
Though basics
Okay.
are proving to be quite difficult to play.
Yeah.
Do you guys want headphones?
I
or
like
you
it, yeah, it makes me feel important.
Okay,
I wanna
that's
go.
fine.
Oh, hello.
See?
Oh, if
Yeah.
you're going to do it, I feel like I want to
Oh,
do it.
yes. Yes.
Just listen to yourself in stereo. In
yes.
a constant, beautiful way. Royal Blood, hello, welcome back.
Hi.
We got there eventually.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for being so patient. How are you both?
I'm very well.
Yeah, I'm very excited today.
Ben, you got a great radio tone going on
Have I?
with your vocals right now.
Thank you, Mike. Thank
You're
you,
excited
everyone.
because
Sound
you're
like
back in Promageddon, is that why?
Yeah, you
We
sound
are-
like you're on the Wix advert. Say Wix.
Wix.
That's very on brand for us. They're the Breakfast
Yes.
Show sponsors, so thank you for that
Really?
mention. Yeah, that's
Is it?
it's a great tie-in.
Wix. Go on, do yours.
Wix.
That's really good.
Wix.
Does it start with an H though?
Wix. Wix. Get down to Wix.
That's really good.
Thank
Do
you.
you ever go to Wix, probably?
Yeah, I
Fixes?
got a drill from there.
There you go.
Yeah,
Everyone should have one.
Black and Decker.
Yeah.
$59.99.
Wix.
Perfect. This is fine. Can we talk about your studio? Because obviously a lot of time has been spent there with this new album. You've self-produced this Beauty Yourselves.
Yes.
Can you rewind me back to the sort of starting point, the conception of this and that decision when that was made to do that for this?
It was a kind of anti-decision. It was just something that was happening already, and we've always had, to a degree, kind of produced ourselves anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like taking on anything new.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, kind of having a producer come in and do the whole record, that would be a kind of new experience for us. And I think the way we were working is that we were recording as we go. And at this point in the process, we recognise that our demos tend to be the most interesting and energetic recordings.
Okay, yeah.
So I'd say the majority of the recordings on the record are kind of, as the ideas are kind of, the ideas are kind of being pretty fresh. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's kind of self-produced by default, really. That's just how we like to work and
Yeah.
how we kind of feel we get the best results.
And I did read in your press release that Rick Rubin gave you a really nice nugget that you kind of clung on to,
Yeah,
which was Royal Blood is you too. You know, it's the connection that you guys have.
Yeah, it was a few years ago now, but I was lucky enough to bump into him, and yeah, that kind of just that reminder of we can kind of make whatever music we like, and we can kind of musically go in any direction, because you can't really escape chemistry, you
Mhm.
know, and that's ultimately the sound of the band, is when Ben and I make music together. So
Yeah.
it's just quite a liberating and it's a liberating idea, you know.
Sure. When you see you guys play, you do seem like you have that kind of unsaid chemistry and that rapport between you. Do you write kind of almost not speaking to each other? Does it just come out this natural kind of organic
Yeah.
kind of result?
Yeah, it's not something you can sit around and talk about. It's kind of, it's
Yeah.
all action, really.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the best ideas happen in that way.
Uh-huh.
It's a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle, though. It's like the pieces are all there, and you're just trying to get the right two to fit together.
Yes.
And so you just keep searching, keep on placing those pieces together until they fit, and then you move on.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, talk to me about the first single, because this is quite a fast,
Yeah.
isn't it? Quite a fast track for you guys. I mean, not really, like, it's not like a major headline. It's
it's-
faster than anything I've done, but it does feel a bit more.
It's a great point, because typically our songs aren't very fast.
Mhm.
It's something we've sort of, when you start putting a set list together, you realise kind of what flavours are kind of missing. But the truth is, we never really landed on anything that's a high tempo that we felt was good enough. And this song kind of came out of sound checks, really, on the road, and it feels like a song that should have always been in our catalogue, and it feels kind of overdue. And again, something that just came very naturally. You can really hear us locking in and becoming a new instrument, you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a few of our riffs or a few of our songs where I feel like we've become this sort of robot with muscles.
Yeah. Something you'd see very late at Glastonbury.
Yes.
No, I can totally hear that. Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I suppose like with your setup in terms of the instruments that you have, your sound is very kind of fingerprint, isn't it? In terms
Yeah.
of bass, drums, but within that, still somehow, which I think is amazing, is you still manage to push your own boundaries, and everything still sounds so varied, which I think is credit to your songwriting. Totally.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I think when the with just being the two of you, adding something extra or doing something slightly different, everything's more extreme. Everything's more noticeable. So I think there are kind of benefits within the limitations of just being two of you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with the record, I read that it was a bit of a roller coaster. That was one of the expressions on the PR. So does that mean in terms of energy and kind of feels of the tracks?
Yeah, I think it's like
varied.
I think it's the first time we've made an album that feels like a proper journey. There's kind of unexpected left turns and we go to places that we'd never been before.
Can you give me a bit more on that?
It's so hard to talk about without playing.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess there's a kind of it's a lot more varied than anything we've made before.
Okay.
In the same way, I guess we always think about the live show in the same way we feel like a set list should have that journey.
Yeah.
And I think playing something downbeat before something heavy gives that huge dynamic. It's a dynamic record, I would say.
I think the aesthetic of the record before Typhoons was more based on, that sound,
Yes.
where this one is, it's based on more of the songwriting
Yeah.
more.
It's difficult to talk about because we really finished it a month ago, and we're still sort of like digesting it. It feels very fresh to us. But yeah, I think Ben's right. I think it feels led by the songs, and I feel like musically we're kind of supporting the songs, whereas I think before perhaps we've let the riffs kind of lead the way.
Okay.
But then it's difficult because then I would say Mountains at Midnight doesn't do that.
Which is
That's
the
what
first
I
single,
mean.
by the way.
Yeah.
It's bring you back to basics.
Yes.
We're going to start off again here and take you on another journey.
Though basics
Okay.
are proving to be quite difficult to play.
Yeah.
The album's called Back to the Water Below. So that's interesting. You say you only finished it a month ago. Did you have this time frame already set out for you, or was it literally like to the label, right,
Yeah.
we're finished now, we're ready to go? But obviously you had Muse and
Yeah.
everything locked in.
Well, we
but-
gave ourselves a bit of a deadline because I think there can be something quite creatively fruitful about doing that. And I also like the idea of a record as a snapshot of where you are at that time, even if it includes imperfections. And I think it made for quite an exciting experience. Also, the nature of the way some of these shows, is that you have to agree to things a long time in advance.
Sure, yeah.
So
We better have a bloody record out.
there was a bit of a sort of like book it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just book it and we'll be there.
Also, when you're writing a record or making a record, if you don't have a deadline, then you'll be going on for
It will never
for
end,
8. Yeah.
Do you procrastinate a lot, you two?
No, but I think the nature of the music is very instinctive, and it's hard to be kind of in the moment when there's a sort of potentially never-ending amount of time. And I think it's all about shooting from the hip, and I think that's another kind of theme for the album really is like, I would say all the ideas were very in the moment, they weren't things that we didn't overthink a lot of these, I think there's a kind of lesson to be learned I got this kind of from Jack White, where I saw in an interview, he said that it's taken him 20 years or whatever to realize that the first thing he does when he picks up an instrument is probably the most interesting thing he's going to do all day.
Sure.
And it totally resonated with me because I feel the first thing we do when we sit down and play, that's it. That's the thing to kind of respect and honor and chase.
Sure.
It's never going to be when you've been in the studio for 6 hours. That you're going
10 cups of coffee down.
nowhere pretty quickly.
Yeah. Let's talk about the live show, because obviously you're probably looking at the set list and going, I want to play all the new ones, the fun ones.
Yeah.
You've got Muse, obviously, support to that coming up, which is, I call it the Muse experience. Like seeing them live is just quite amazing. Like the fans' interaction with them and the huge, like the vastness of their shows. You must be thrilled to get back on those big stages. again?
Yeah, I think we've always, we grew up listening to their records, and they've always been the standard for musicianship, And yeah, you're right. It kind of, to me, like I think one thing we share is that I feel like our bands make more sense when you come to the show, and particularly them. It's really about the full picture. You're getting the full picture when
I feel like
you're
you're
at
in
the
a
show.
big epic film, don't you? when you
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
it?
it's wild. So yeah, very very excited to be part of that.
Nice. And then, of course, you got the Brighton Beat Show, which I'm excited about as a Brighton resident as well. So it's the first time, obviously we've had Fatboy Slim do it loads of times, but it's been a big band show. I mean, Great Escape have got the beach stage now, I know that, but
I feel
this
like we might
is-
be the first band. Maybe I feel like I think a few people have been doing it maybe last year, but
Yeah.
well, definitely the first
bands.
duo
yeah, definitely.
From Brighton.
There's
to
the
do it on
headline.
a Thursday.
Called Royal Blood.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be beautiful. If you get it right with the weather, that's going to be just knockout,
Yeah.
isn't it?
yeah, looking forward to that.
Could be a washout.
Could be a washout. Yeah.
It won't be. It'll be fine. It'll
Hope
be
we get-
brilliant.
We looked at the tide times because that might be something.
Yeah, we
something
should-
to consider.
Yeah, something to
We
consider.
should do that, yeah.
Pass that
Yeah.
on to management.
Yeah.
High tide.
Yeah,
And then you've got
tides.
Glastonbury as well.
Yes.
Yes,
Perfect. And you've got, is it Truck you're headlining?
Yep.
Yeah, as well. So
Truck.
busy summer, yeah.
we've got a lot to do.
Yeah. Why Not Festival? We're going to be there.
Yeah,
We're at a few festivals, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Is it going to be nice? Have you got all your crew coming back, from the last tour, from Typhoons and stuff?
Unfortunately, yeah. No, they're good
I felt
boys.
awkward there and I felt like I'd opened something I shouldn't have done. It's
They're
like,
good.
oh, no.
It's
They're,
a
they're actually the
sense
best. They're what we would call the best in the biz.
yeah, they're pros.
It's important to have that
We're
family unit, right?
essentially taking all of the glory.
Yeah.
As we should.
Well, I think it's absolutely wonderful to have you back. It's been a big week of headlines, hasn't it? With like Foo Fighters and Blur and everything, and you guys returning.
Yeah,
So
I love that new Blur song. It's amazing.
it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, really good.
It's really nice to have a 2023 version of Blur, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Nice to see you, and we'll see you again.
Yeah.